So how do we get started on all this countdown to Christmas business anyway? Today on Reinventing You. How's it going? I'm Amelia. This is Reinventing You. I'm going on a reinventioning journey, and I invite you to come along with me and hopefully be inspired to start one of your own. I normally post twice a week on Sundays and Tuesdays, but in December of 2018, I plan on posting days 1 through 25. Today is December the 2nd. I would love a comment below if you have a favorite Advent calendar or countdown to Christmas calendar. We're counting down to Christmas through Vlogmas, but a lot of us have used something called an Advent calendar. Now, an Advent calendar is something that counts down the days 1 through 25, and usually it's something where you open something like a box or a door or a window and get a prize for doing that every single day. When I was growing up, Advent calendars were very simple. You would have simply a calendar that you would have a little tiny door, usually it's made out of cardboard or paper, and you'd open that and it might be some scripture or a saying and then a picture behind it. And those are the kind of Advent calendars that I grew up with. But even when my son was little, I wanted to get him Advent calendars like the Narnia calendar that not only did it open up every day, but there was a main wardrobe door to open that. And if you're familiar with the story, you'll know what I'm talking about. There was also, I remember, a Lego calendar where you opened every day and you got like a little Lego figurine or a piece, a special piece that was just for that season. Today, if you want an Advent calendar, you can have something with jewelry, chocolate, cheese, and even wine. Now, I find all this kind of remarkable because you're basically counting down until Christmas, which is the day that Christians celebrate the birth of Christ. But of course, the holiday has become so secularized that many people are simply celebrating the day of feasting and getting and giving gifts. Now, maybe you grew up in a household that celebrated a Christian Christmas or maybe a secular Christmas. Maybe you're Jewish and you're celebrating Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah, by the way. And maybe you don't celebrate Christmas, but you do Kwanzaa right afterwards, and that's great too. But all of us in this season can get caught up in the frenzy of overindulgence and trying to outdo one another with gifts given and received. What I find really kind of humorous, the whole idea of the Advent calendar, it's really not an Advent calendar. The whole concept of Advent in the history of the Christian church really meant that Advent was a little Lent. If you're not familiar with Lent, Lent is the 40 days before Easter, not including Sundays. Many Christians in all areas of the world and in many denominations will basically honor the season of Lent by giving something up. In other words, abstinence or fasting. They might give up chocolate or soda or try taking something on, like giving back to the community in some way. But the original intent of Lent was simply basically to fast during that time because you're preparing for Easter. So the idea of Lent being a time of fasting and abstinence and preparation carried over into the season of Advent, the time of preparing for the coming Christ child. Now, if you're in a church or have been in a church where they follow what's something called the lectionary, many churches will be preaching on Isaiah and Hosea and John the Baptist and Revelation. These are not uplifting and light readings. These are dark and heavy, telling of the coming and basically saying, get your act together. And here we are counting down to Christmas Day through the Advent calendar where we're drinking a bottle of wine every day and eating lots of cheese and chocolate. What happened? Well, obviously the secular world took over Christmas. It's no longer a time of celebrating a mass or a special service for Christ. It is a time for Santa Claus coming down the chimney and leaving gifts underneath the tree. It's a time for families to get together and overeat and overdrink. That does not include all of the things we're doing, like wearing special clothing for the season or cleaning our houses and decorating them in special ways, or planning events, whether it's at work or with friends, so that we can get together and overindulge once more. So an advent calendar is really a Christmas countdown calendar. We really need to take out the idea of Advent, because we're not preparing like traditionally. Preparing would mean fasting and abstinence, and then when you got to Christmas Day, it was a day of going to a special service, and you might have a special meal, but the only gift giving usually happened the day after Christmas, when if you were wealthy, you would be giving gifts to those who served you or the local poor. So much has changed since then. I blame the Victorians, but who knows? Our countdown for Christmas doesn't mention Advent. It's simply a Vlogmas. I hope you will join me for every day as we do our countdown. Don't think there's going to be too much abstinence or fasting going on, but we'll see as we go. My name is Amelia. This is Reinventing You. Have a great one.